Good morning, everybody. Hope we're all doing well. Hope we're ready to end this week on a good note. I know yesterday was pretty boring. Let's see. We were pretty much pinned between the top burger and bottom burger all day. And they pretty much made every drop and pop only so lucrative. If you shorted up here at 41.60 back to 41.36, they still didn't make it easy. They got so far and popped half the way back up before getting down there. Point being that sorry, I'm just pausing for a second because it said I'd lost connection and now it's back. So hopefully everyone can hear me and see my screen okay. But when we have such a tight consolidation day, we can pretty much assume that the overnight is going to be stuck in about the same range, right? You can see we topped out kind of yesterday's highs, and we've come down to test, basically the top of yesterday's burger. If you look at today's low a day, and that red line in yesterday's burger bottom, pretty much overlapping. So our range has been set by yesterday's price action and some of the overnight highs and lows. I would not be surprised whether we break up or break down today that we hit both ends of the range. So maybe we open near the top, take a dip right back down before heading higher, but we'll have to see. We do have some economic data coming out in a few minutes with non-farm payroll. Good old NFP. Which surprisingly, it sounds like it maybe not the most significant thing, but they love to move the market because of it. So we had our jobless claims yesterday. From what I remember reading, it was within expectation, so nothing crazy. So we'll have non-farm payrolls and unemployment rate today at 8:30, as well as like hourly earnings, labor force, blah, blah, blah. So plenty of stuff dropping at 8:30. We can expect some movement up or down depending on how that data looks. And the forecast is down, so we'll see what ends up dropping. I guess we could take a sneak peek at next week. We have CPI, more jobless claims, and that University of Michigan stuff. So yeah, that's what's on the horizon for CPI. Let's take a quick look to see earnings. Yeah, this is Friday morning earnings. And DraftKings. Oh, it's a little hard to see. Let's see if we can't make that a little bigger. There we go. Pretty much just DraftKings, maybe Goodyear, blah, blah, blah. Not seeing any other big names to speak of. We scroll up a little, we can get the whole week view. And Western Digital. Let's see if we've got our monthly one within reach. Not going to scroll forever, but we could take a quick sneak peek of what we have coming next week. Yeah, we're already into July here. It's in here somewhere, I'm sorry. I was going to try and find the monthly view where it shows the whole monthly calendar. But these are all weekly, so, well. So, what can we expect today? We've already had our bounce at Burger Bottom and at yesterday's open. We did open a little bit higher, so having that little bit of a gap up. You know, looking for this pre-market bounce to hold a higher low. So looking for yesterday's open, that Burger Bottom at worst to hold, send us up higher. We're already pushing through Burger Top. That data will come out in a few minutes. It could send us back down to this level. It could send us up through this level and pushing. We do have plenty of squeezes in place. 1 hour, 2 hour. Stacked right on top of each other, pretty much, right? So with that being the case, I usually turn one off. So we'll be tapping the bottom at about 41.45 and a half. Be tapping both tops at the same point. So I usually end up turning one of them off. Just so I don't have to stare at a bunch of stack squeezes. And ultimately, you know, we held our key zone and consolidated to build up energy to take out this key level, which we've only peaked above to set some highs and then drifted back. But our key zone and our key level have held. Come on, where are the rest of my studies? There we go. So in the grand scheme of things, you know, we've had our resistance at this zone, and I'll go ahead and turn off Beast so it makes it a little easier to see. We've had our resistance at this zone. We broke through, and now we're holding this zone. As long as we're holding this zone, we shouldn't really be thinking about shorting back to the ground or even back to a moving average. You know, we should be like they are, like big money and the rest of the market. We should be buying those dips, right? Once we start to break this zone and head down, then it will definitely be an accelerated short. Definitely a good time to short back to the moving averages and key levels. But we've got our squeeze bottoms there for support. We had our burger bottoms there as well. So, looking to hold those levels and head higher. Ultimately, if we can get over this 41.65 with some momentum and take out these recent highs, we're trying to get up to this zone around 41.83, 41.90, and then we've got that psych level of 4200 and 4205. Two zones above. Should things really get rocking past that, our third Keltner is up at that 4230. And I've got 4260 out there, so. But not trying to be too crazy. To the downside, if we fall back to this 4136 and start to lose yesterday's low, you know, losing this 4136 and a half, 4135. Very key level. Should we start to lose that and ultimately go below 4130, it's probably going to make a beeline down to this daily 8, which is right in our 4108, 4101 zone, which should be very familiar to folks. We've spent a lot of time there. So let's see if our squeeze clouds hold us up. Let's see if we get some Friday momentum that carries us, you know, on a run up as hard as we did, and a Thursday consolidation. You know, it can lead to that strong continuation on a Friday. It can also lead to, looks like they're already starting to pop a little before the data. It can also lead to, you know, the 4 phases of the market, right? We have going up, consolidation, we could have coming down, and consolidation. So, and just like yesterday, we should always be prepared for the potential of staying in the range that we find ourselves in. We finally fly up and through, we could consolidate here for another day or two. But Fridays like to move. So, I'd like to say at least yesterday we did a pretty good job of identifying we weren't going to go anywhere. We hit a nice long, we hit the short back, we tried our longs here and there, but frankly, they just got chewed up. And individual names definitely were moving better than the market. So let's see what we get today and play this range until the range breaks. Man, come on, don't start slowing down on me. This thing was popping earlier. Alright, we've got our range set from yesterday and overnight as well. You can see in Q, did not come back near lows overnight, holding up very nicely and looking like it wants to lead, like it's been doing. We've already bounced at this 300 pre-market, so looking to hold that 300. If we lose it, and get as low as this, well, yesterday's low, where we now have a 2-hour squeeze at that 200. Ooh, I think data just dropped, eh? We're up here. Now we tore through 300. Looks like we're going to head right to yesterday's low. And we have this daily Keltner. So let's see if yesterday's low, this 200, this 2-hour squeeze bottom can hold us up. And cause a bounce back up. Who knows, we still have an hour left. They could tear through this and start making the journey if we are actually going to dump. Sometimes this reaction is just to load back up. So ultimately, let's see if this squeeze bottom can hold. If not, losing yesterday's low could kind of Wednesday morning's high before the pullback. Should we start to give that out, we could go back through Wednesday's rally, back to this daily 8 and these key levels. So we've got our targets below. If this 2-hour squeeze is not going to hold up and we are going to fire down, that's where we're heading. If the 2-hour squeeze can hold up, we're looking to get back up to where we were to fight higher to these levels. Let's just take a look over in stock news real quick to see if the data got dropped. So unemployment 3.5 versus 3.6 previous and an estimate of 3.6. So that looks like a beat. Non-farm payroll 528 versus 372 previous, estimate of 250. Looks like a huge beat. They estimated it going down and it's way up. So we'll see. Not understanding this negative reaction, but frankly, like we said, it can be a negative reaction just to load right back up. So let's see if that's what we get. ES has already broken through 41.36 and heading down to our lower level, which means it is breaking through to our MAs. And we'll see about 4-hour MAs. Let's see. NQ trying to hold up, but sometimes these negative reactions can just kind of start a cascade of selling. So let's see what we get. We've got our targets to the downside, we've got our targets to the upside, if we can hold this spot right in the middle. Nothing like that economic data dropping right in the middle of prep to change it up. Let's see, getting to the daily 8 can still hold up the 4-hour MA structure. Let's see, they're ready. Engulfed yesterday and the drive from Wednesday already. Let's see if it can hold Wednesday's low. And it can get to that daily 8 as well. But if it can try to hold Wednesday's low here at this 1890, goal to fight back up and to this 1900, stay in these squeezes, push higher. If we give out that 90, coming back to this 75.80 pocket with the daily 8 and Keltner. Yeah, I see. Looking at the YouTube chat, I see the points you guys are making, but you know, NFP is sometimes it's no matter if it's good or bad, they just love to use it as a reason on a Friday to make a course correction and move in a different full reversal or whatever. So let's see. Oh, come on. YM pretty much already arriving at that daily 8 and Keltner pocket. And we've got this psych level of 32,500. We could easily hold there, start to work our way back up. But if we start to lose that 500 or that day up, or if we give it out, take out this week's lows and head lower. Great, now the whole software is freezing. And yeah, I'm seeing that I'm just, frankly guys, I'm gonna restart real quick because I'm seeing that I keep losing connection and it's buffering. So I'm just gonna restart the computer and restart this broadcast. I don't know if it's tolerable. This is kind of silly that it's taken this long. Let's see. And so we start the slip pre-market. You know, these highs are what's important. This 163 area where this daily Keltner is stepping up. Holding these earnings highs that we finally broke through and are above is pretty key. Should we start to lose that 163 and a half, 163, yeah, should we start to lose that, you know, we're giving out what used to be resistance that should be support, it would be becoming resistance again, and it'll push us right back down to this range and likely to that 160. But if we can hold that 162.75, 163 and a half, that little zone of what should be support, if that can hold, we can work our way back up to 165 and 167. Depending on how long AMD takes to load, I will restart. Alright, maybe it's getting a little better. AMD had an epic run up yesterday, folks. I know the market wasn't doing much, but individual names were moving better. And I talked about this during yesterday's prep, how AMD had that negative reaction on earnings, but they fought it right back up. And I talked about how even though that was a negative reaction, it only dropped to the daily 8 and held very strong right at that daily 8. To me, that's not a negative reaction so much as a reset to take it higher. If it was really a negative reaction, they would have dumped it past the daily 8 into this liquidity pocket where the 21, 50, and 15 all sit at a key number. That would have been a negative reaction. Maybe even back to this low. But we got our pick up off that daily 8, off that 93, some key levels there. And we pushed higher, slowed down and hung out in that 96, 97. And I talked about yesterday in prep, if this gets going, it could take both of these out quick and get above 100. That's what we got. Big old push. I think those 100s went, like 50 cents to $4, something like that. Now we're coming back down with the market. Let's see if that 101 highs from Tuesday can hold us up. Probably worth keeping an eye on those 100 puts, just like the calls were a great play yesterday. Those puts could be a good play, as we could just come right back to this zone. But if we can hold that 101, we can work our way back to that 104, 105. Amazon. Above its third Keltner. Trying to hold it pre-market and almost to that daily. Actually, let's edit this just to make sure. Ooh, daily 200. So almost the daily 200 on Amazon. At that 146, that would be the key level to the upside if it can hold and keep going. Trying to hold this little trend line from yesterday's lows pre-market. And trying to hold that little squeeze bottom. Looks like we got a 30-minute squeeze bottom. Zoom in a little. So, if it can't hold trend line or squeeze bottom, likely coming right back to those lows at 140. But if it can hold and start to break out trend line from the highs to that squeeze top, you know, looking to get to that 146 where that daily 200 is, big key moving average. Oh, and BA just loads like magic. Come on. No, we're still looking at Amazon's prices. Come on. Are we not? 166, 140? Yeah. So it loaded BA, but these are all Amazon's prices still. There we go. Now we're looking at BA. Let's see if we can hold that 165. Yesterday's low, 164.5. If it gives that out, it's probably coming down to the daily 8 and the bottom of this 4-hour squeeze. If it can hold up, it's looking, or you know, it's a mission to get back to 67, 68, ultimately 70. Cat. Come on, toss, get snappier. Yes, heading a little lower. Oh, come on. Cat looking weak. Looking like we might not head back up right now. It's at all the daily liquidities. And looking like we might reject and start heading lower down to that first Keltner. 180, 178. If we can hold squeeze bottoms, lows of week, probably just going to stay at this liquidity range. Google. Oi, oi, oi. Google already given up yesterday's low. Looking like we're going to get back to the daily 8 and back to this consolidation range. So, maybe worth keeping an eye on those 115 puts. If it can get back above yesterday's low and try to hold, you know, goal getting back to 190, 119, 120, top of this squeeze, that it's, well, it's not visible yesterday, but it's still intact. GS, let's see. Damn, he has almost to the 4108, 4101. Good old NFP. Congrats to any that swung puts. Strangely, GS looks like it's still, well, potentially gapping up. I don't know. Looking strong, but, you know, the market's going to be bringing it back. Let's see if it can hold that squeeze bottom. If not, could dump to this 4-hour daily 8. Keltner's below. 330 put. 328 might be worth watching if things are going to roll. If we can hold this squeeze bottom around 330, I'm looking to get back to that 334 at the top. I'm skipping JPM, we'll go to Meta. Squeaky chair. Hey. Meta dumping with the market back at yesterday's lows. If it can hold 167, it's a fight to get back to 170, 172. If we start to give out that 167, 165, it could heat up to the downside back to this consolidation around 160, 162. Microsoft. We can at least check in on VIX to see it's shooting right back up to that 22.5. Let's see if it can just stall out there and die. We could see the market pop. I know it's crazy to some folks to be thinking upside after a drop like this, but there's been plenty of times that they pull this just to rip it up. And we should always be prepared for both directions, not just to see this dump and think, oh, short it down to the ground, yeah. So, Microsoft back down at yesterday's lows at that 280. That's what we were looking for it to hold yesterday, or else we'd maybe engulf Wednesday's run. So, same premise. Let's see if 280 can hold. If it starts to give out, we'll go quickly to 278 in that daily 8 in Keltner, which will be around 277, 276. Alright, Netflix already back down near yesterday's lows. Let's see if they can hold, but this is a bit of a mess. More expecting it to dump back to that daily 8 and Keltner and squeeze bottoms if market remains weak. So, 225s. Down to 220s could be a good play if we do roll over. I mean, if we hold and the market does a whole reversal, yeah, it'd be back to that 230, 232, and up to 238, but starting to look less and less feasible. I'm so sorry, I might have been on mute for that QQQ breakdown. Apologies. Man, maybe it'll load quicker since we just had it up. Come on. No, it's going to take forever. Alright, so basically I was saying, not surprised to see it at 320. Next stop is at 318, 316, this zone below. If we can hold 318, get back above 320, it's a fight to get back to that 324, 325. But if we give out 320, head to 318, that daily 8 likely stepping up to 316, so we'll get to that for a tap. If that gives out down to that 311. Now we'll go to SPX. Sorry about that. Now I had to mute for a second so I could cuss out this computer. Yes, still slipping to that 4101 and almost to that daily 8, right below 4100. So SPX, looking at a 50 point gap down. So going to be open near 4100 and this let's project this forward. This is the gap zone that we held. And we're going to be opening right near it. Already down like half of the ATR. So we do have also a gap fill from here to here that will be opening in the middle of as well. So let's see. Do we dip to that daily 8, that gap fill zone, find a bounce to completely fill this gap back up to that 4120, 4118, and then fight to get back up to where we were? Or do we give out 4100, this daily 8, fill this gap back down to 4060, and should that give out the daily 21 back down at 4000? That'd be pretty dramatic though. Well, let's see what we get. SPY. Well, SPY, look at those key levels. We get to it, chop around it, turn it into support to take off to the next, where we sit, and then dump right back. Key levels. Let's see. Daily 8 likely going to be stepping right up near this 409, 409 and a half. So probably tagging the daily 8 right now. So let's see if we're going to hold the daily 8 in this zone and try to turn a little bit of a cover pop that might only get to 411 or 412. Let's see if we can get through and keep carrying back to that 414. If we give out this zone, daily 8, zone and daily 8, we've got a 7.8 TR, close around 414. yeah, if we give out this zone in current daily 8, likely heading down to that 407, 406 for the full ATR, and if we continue and keep looking weak, this daily 21 and 15, likely stepping up to about 402, 400. Tesla. They approved that 3-to-1 stock split at the shareholders meeting yesterday. So we will be dealing with a 3-to-1. I did not see the date, but I assume it's going to be the end of the month, like it was last time. So who knows? We could just be having this pullback and whatnot so that they could have an epic load up of Tesla for the rest of the month. But looks like it's back to the bottom of this 2-hour squeeze. Let's see if it can hold that 2-hour squeeze and that low from Wednesday, or that midday low from Tuesday, both kind of around 900. If it starts to lose 900, probably coming back to that daily 8 around 880, which actually it'll be stepping up to about 890. And this first Keltner down will be stepping back up near that 865, 860. So there's some downside targets should we continue, but if we can hold, looking to get back to that 918, 930, 950, and a push for that 965. And VIX. Alright, on VIX. If we're going to see more downside when the market opens, I'm expecting VIX to break through this 22.5, this daily 8, get back to 23, daily 15, 23.3. And if we really roll over back to, say, the daily 21 on some things, then we're probably going to push VIX back to the daily 21 and to this daily 100. I'm assuming it's still 100. Nope, daily 200, back at 24.4. And our key level at 24.5. So if we're going to see downside, we've got a number of key things to get through on VIX. We could easily, if we're going to get a cover pop and maybe head back up, reject this 22.5, this daily 8 to push back lower to that 22 and 21.5 again. So we'll just have to see what we get. I'd say, unfortunately, with those annoying gaps up that we had, even though we didn't really gap down hard or anything, VIX is now potentially establishing that higher low. So let's see if we start pushing through yesterday's highs and get to 23, 22.8, 23 pretty quick. Chances are we're probably going to see more downside. So hopefully this was helpful for everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Good luck today. We'll see you in the room. And remember patience, Let's see what shapes up at open. But good luck today.